there was a number of vessels which was
sunk in that channel.
Yes,
Right, I see.
To close the channel.
Yes, yes.
But now it's already
It's cleared?
Cleared, yes.
Ну, они же знают, потому что
So it doesn't look like a dead city.
Very much alive.
Quite alive.
One interesting thing about Russia is how many elderly people participate in everyday activities like, for example, strolling in the park or coming to the beach. You would never find in South Africa so many elderly people on the beach. But this is quite a Russian thing. Even very elderly people who can hardly walk will use a walking stick to get into the water.
Wow. Where is
Your car keys?
no, my phone. I hope I left it in the car.
Yeah, well, we haven't stopped anywhere, so
Yeah.
there hasn't been an opportunity to leave your phone, to mislay it anywhere.
I think it's not good to walk here.
It's no good?
There is a ruin of a couple of cafes and a huge entertainment center.
So are we walking?
Okay, let's go there. We have enough time to...
Yeah. I thought that you were saying to me that you didn't want to walk here on this path. The evenings in Russian summer are terrific. I've experienced that in Arkhangelsk, in the very far north, and Moscow, and now in the south, in the southwest of Russia. Is it strictly the southwest? Maybe not, but you know where I'm talking about. Arnold's putting up all of the stuff that orientates you when I talk about this city and that sea. Oh, by the way, the sea that you saw in the videos is the Sea of Azov. You've heard of the Azov Brigade, the neo-Nazis or Nazis or whatever you want to call them, fighting on the Ukrainian side. They are named for this sea, the Sea of Azov, which is next door to the Black Sea. And in the next few days we'll be at the Black Sea. Are you going to walk along there? I'll walk along here, Michal.
Yeah, okay.
In the next few days, we'll be at the Black Sea. I'll travel to Crimea tomorrow, but I'll be at the capital because that's where the authorities are and the important people that we need to meet. So it'll take me a day or two. The capital is Simferopol. And it's, roughly speaking, in the middle of the Crimean Peninsula. One of the most famous and important locations of the history of man, certainly of Europe. So it'll take me a day or two to get to Sevastopol and other places. Oh, there's a queue for the showers, boy. I swam earlier and it was so hot. They issued warnings today, I mean proper hot. This morning the thermometer was registering 37 degrees Celsius. So I can't be sure. I'm taking a bit of a guess here, but the hottest part of the day might have been 40, 41, 39, there or thereabouts. But long before the sun was high, it was 37 degrees Celsius. Anyway, it was so hot. We had such a big lunch that when we got back to the hotel, I was a bit naughty. I didn't shower. And of course, as somebody who spent a lifetime diving, fishing, scuba diving, burgling crayfish, lifeguarding and so on, I should have known better. I should have rinsed the salt water off me the moment that I walked in the door. But I was just kaput. So I lay down on the bed and had a snooze. It's now, as I say, 6 o'clock. We're back out. And you saw the queues for the showers. So the water is running. There's electricity. There's terrific internet. Our hotels...
So restoration started already.
Ah.
You can see that it's already
being repaired.
Yes.
Where was I before I got distracted by the queues for the showers? Oh, I forget now. Simon. In the 90s, Russia or Russians had a terrible reputation for alcoholism. And as you just saw, there is a residue or a remnant of that. You do see it from time to time. But very, very interestingly, this is the first time in my life that I've come across it. You will find large circles of people who don't drink at all. 30 friends who just don't drink. And the circle of friendship is not based on the fact that we all don't drink. Are we going that way?
You can go that or this way.
Okay, no. Uneasy. The circle of friendship is based upon something else, whatever it may be. But Dmitry told me, Dmitry Balkovsky in Moscow, whom I've mentioned many times before, that he knows a circle of friends that's kind of adjacent to his friend circle. And he said that it's a circle of 30 people, 15 couples or something along those lines, of which nobody drinks. It was a time in the 90s of huge despair. But the truth is, and I've really read up on this, and the only sources that I've read are anti-Putin sources. I made up my mind that I would read what Russia's enemies had to say, and then form my own opinion. And consistently, as far as the timing is concerned, whether you agree with the guy, you disagree, you're anti, you're pro, one thing is simply not controvertible. And that is that beginning in the year 2000, power was signed over by Boris Yeltsin on last day of the year, 31st of December 1999, almost at midnight. So beginning on day one of the year 2000, when Putin and his guys came in, Russia began to see a resurgence of strength, hope and prosperity. It didn't happen overnight. Nevertheless, my point is that since that point in time, will we walk back now to the car, as you suggested, Michael?
Yeah.
Are we walking back to the car now?
Yes.
Okay. So that was the crucial inflection point. January, the 1st of January. Look, if I know anything, if I've learned anything, it's this. You'll probably find that on the 1st of January, people were, all over the world, hungover. The 2nd and the 3rd, if you go and look at the year 2000, were probably a Saturday and a Sunday. I bet you any money that the great work really began on the finest day of the year, the most wonderful day of every year of history, the 4th of January. Coincidentally, my birthday, but that's not the point. So beginning on the 4th of January 2000, the big changes began to happen. And Russia was rebuilt. Of course, it can be, it's very easy to, how can I say this? Of course, it was the Soviet Union that became Russia. So it's the air that began to be rebuilt. Not one and the same as the preceding thing. The Soviet Union, as you know, collapsed in 1991, and on Christmas Day 1991, Mikhail Gorbachev withdrew Russia from the Soviet Union.
Simon, let's go this way.
And
I'll show you one of the best restaurants in Mariupol.
okay,
Just to look out.
yes. So Mikhail will use his diplomatic status and his authority and his card. Oh, he's used it before. While he's going to talk to the girls, they're going to let us in for free. I'm right behind you. I want to tell a quick story. He's done it before. Somebody was kind of blocking my progress in my work, and he lost his temper. And he invoked every authority under the sun. Needless to say, their attitude changed rapidly. He's a career diplomat. He's in a sensitive posting. He has a very particular job to do. Let me show you the pretty girls with their lovely smile. Look at those smiles. So this is
Будет отлично.
devastated
Ну,
Mariupol.
по-русски я тогда останусь и расскажу.
Devastated Mariupol, nothing
Как давно
left
вы
of it.
открылись там, все, ну, просто вот сказать. So, Simon,
Yes.
this restaurant opened just 2 years ago.
Uh-huh.
It's only restaurant, not hotel or nothing.
Uh-huh.
По пятницам, субботам у нас очень много людей, бесплатный вход.
On Friday night and Saturday night, it's overcrowded, and they have special program, and they even if you want to come here, you have to pay
Uh-huh.
to book a place.
Наш ресторан занимает первое место по всему городу, популярный.
So it's #1 restaurant in Mariupol.
Ah,
So, like,
okay. Oh, it's gorgeous, isn't it?
so, and I swear that here I have tried the best cocktail in Mariupol.
Well, there you go. Goodness gracious me. If we only had the hope that these people have. A country on the ascendant, if ever there was one.
У нас каждый день с 7 часов диджей играет, очень много людей, дискотека.
They have discotheque, DJ,
Uh-huh.
and show program. Yeah.
Бронируют за неделю, чтобы к нам попасть.
Да, я знаю, поэтому мы сегодня, видимо, к вам не придем, потому что мы приехали просто по
Завтра у
дороге.
нас
А мы
группа приезжает завтра, кадр группа «Жара».
I think Michael misunderstood her, because that says since 2024.
Я там говорил, что мне хочется. И они сами написали. Спасибо большое. Simon,
Yes.
maybe you'll stay here for 5 minutes and I'll come.
No, I'll walk with you.
Yeah?
Yes. So, to continue the story, with apologies to Arnold, who has to edit these sometimes higgledy-piggledy videos. On the 25th of December 1991.
Wait one moment, Simon.
On the 25th of December 1991, Mikhail Gorbachev withdrew Russia from the Soviet Union, leaving Kazakhstan holding the baby. And for a while, Kazakhstan was the only remaining member of the Soviet Union. It was the Soviet Union. It was its own Soviet Union. I was going to make a point. Apologies, everybody. Right, so they withdrew from the Soviet Union. That's what we were trying to say. Oh, guys, I'm so sorry. We were talking about the course of events. When we got so rudely distracted by our restaurant tour. So it was the Soviet Union up until the end of 1991. Then we had Boris Yeltsin in power for 2 terms, and as the second term was coming to an end, and he was the worst of national embarrassments. Somebody convinced him. I've read about this. Somebody very powerful. I can't remember the little cabal's name, but it was, it was at that point where the security services were saying, Uncle Boris, this much and no more. And so he handed over the reins as president. He said, I'm handing the presidency to this chap, Vladimirovich Putin. And I'm going on holiday, I'm retiring. So Vladimir Putin ended that second term. And then there were new elections and he won, and the rest is history. But my point being that that was the beginning of the improvements. The previous years, between 1991 back to or forward to 1999, I beg your pardon, that period of between the Soviet Union and Vladimir Putin taking over was catastrophic. It was possibly unavoidable. I'm not saying that it was a catastrophe by incompetence or stupidity or what have you, to transition from a socialist state to this sort of state, I think is like giving birth. It's a process that is definitively painful. There must be pain before there's great joy, as with the birth of a child. The fact remains that then, beginning at the beginning of the year 2000, things slowly started to change. And now, as I've mentioned in other videos, you have a situation, I'm just going to use one example to epitomize this, in which Germans who visit Moscow say that the public transport is very, very, very much better than in Germany. This just illustrates, is everything perfect? No, of course not. But as you know from my series of videos with Marius, in which I complain about Russia, I look for things to complain about, there's very little to complain about. If you want to be, if you want to find fault, you're going to struggle. You don't have much ammunition to work with.
Do you speak Russian? Hello. Hello.
You know, I've really handled the subject of the food. I don't want to belabor the point, but again, just a salient example comes to mind. It's salient, it sticks out like a sore thumb. If you go into the little shops, what they call the petiochki, some of them are, I'm not talking about the privately owned mom and pop little shops. They will have whatever stock they have. I'm talking about this nationwide chain that is roughly the equivalent of, in South African terms, a Spar, but very much smaller. You will find variety like you have never seen. Tiny shop, overflowing. I've told you previously, I gave up counting at 108 varieties of different sorts of bread in one particular Petyorchka, small little place. And if I was to estimate what I didn't count because I lost interest at the time, it was probably another 15 sorts. So it's a country experiencing terrific prosperity, growth, opportunity, and hope. And I'm going to end the video there. I've spoken for long. We're moving on to somewhere else, and I shall do some more recording.